Nice. All right, grab a mic.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you too, Joe.
Okay, good. All right. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for that wonderful introduction, Max. I'm also part of the Crypto Oracle Collective, which is an advisory firm in Web3. Amazing stuff going on. I've been in NFT since 2016. I was a university professor, and also I built university branch campuses around the world. And I noticed there was a lot of fake degrees and certificates and scams. And I started presenting alternative solutions, but the education system didn't want it. And my question is, where's my slides, man? Okay, good. Okay, good. All right. So, and we talk about degrees and institutions and things like that.
There you go.
Obviously, I didn't prepare with all the details, but I think you're gonna have a nice time this 8 minutes that I have. All right, so they call me Jody Rich and Karen Bell. These guys call me the NFT professor because I came from that world of traditional education into this world, which is very inspiring. As you can see, all the projects this morning, we already had super smart people, very inspiring projects. I mean, we just had a guy on stage with Down syndrome who was talking about how this technology was able to change the world and give them community. And when Crypto Mondays is one of those communities, the largest community in that area. So I'm excited about NFTs in general, but one of the things people still go for is the big degrees. And let me tell you something, I have a lot of big degrees. Yeah,
Yeah.
I got big degrees. Actually, I was in the dentist office the other day, and this guy, I went to a new dentist, and he had all these big degrees on the walls, like 50 of them, right? And one of them was huge. It was like 3 feet by 3 feet, okay? And I'm like, wow. But then I was in a waiting room, and I thought, should I actually trust this? You know, is this like, you know, degree from Romania and this and that, and it's like, you know, bigger than the wall and all these things. And people like to promote their big degrees and their big institutions, but we don't even look at sometimes that the institutions might be some of the problem. And as a matter of fact, I got a big degree. The biggest degree that I have is my associate's degree. It's Miami-Dade College, this one right here. And it's actually really big. You know, it's really hard to travel with, you know, but then I have all these other degrees. I went to Harvard, I went to Cambridge. I have all these smaller degrees. I have 3 master's degrees, a doctorate degree. I want to hand these out just so everybody knows that these are real degrees. These are real degrees. I want you to give them back to me though. There's a reason here. These are all degrees. And you know how you know these are real degrees? Because there's some kind of stamp on there. It's signed by the top guy at Cambridge University or wherever. These are some of my degrees. I went to London School of Economics as well. Here's another one. All right. I'm going to ask for these back, okay? So don't take them with you.
I'm down.
Down for a degree?
Yeah.
All right. You don't get to keep it.
Oh.
You know why? Because I did all the work. My first one, I started out as an orphan, and I started out as an auto mechanics certificate vocational school. I went on to get 3 master's degrees and a PhD and become a professor, build over 100 programs around the world and 3 universities. And so it's my practical experience, not all these degrees and my transcripts, all that good stuff. Do those look like real degrees and certificates? You can feel it, you can touch it, you can see it. Well, yeah. All right, so somebody have my doctorate degree, don't lose that. And I'm gonna definitely, you got my doctorate degree? It says Doctor of Education. Does that look like a real degree to you? All right, those are all my degrees. As you can see, I went to all these prestigious schools. And what did I get out of it? Nothing. Because not one of these things actually proves my skills and abilities in the real world. I've done a lot of other things, like, for example, with Crypto Mondays every week in a different country. I'm on stage interviewing the top people in this entire industry, not just NFTs, but the entire industry. And I have all those skills. Those skills aren't recognized, but there's a lot of other people in the informal economy. There's only, let's say, 2% of the world's education is found in actually certificates and degrees that are accredited. The UN estimates that there's over 20 million informal teachers in Africa, informal teachers that are going from school to school, place to place, and their qualifications are not recognized. I presented NFTs as a solution to that, but the universities didn't want to listen. But hopefully the crypto community listens. This kind of skill and ability. So this is Crypto Mondays. We're everywhere. We have fun. We have the best locations. We have the coolest people. Come to Crypto Mondays. We have 3 or 4 different ones in New York City and all over probably the city you're at. These are some of the stuff that I did last year with Crypto Mondays. But I want to point to this young lady here. She's 24 years old. Her name's Agatha. This was the ETH Warsaw, and we did Crypto Mondays there, of course, with a huge turnout. They brought these motorcycles, and she actually builds these motorcycles. She builds them from scratch. She has no qualifications. She has no education. She builds these from scratch with a 24-year-old Polish woman. And check it out. Why did they come to Crypto Mondays with their motorcycles, their cruiser, their Harleys? Because she makes custom bikes for crypto. Notice the bike that I'm sitting on. It's an Ethereum bike. And it has the simplicity, smart contract of Ethereum. She put that in her mind. She designed it. Okay, that's amazing. There's no qualification. She has a Bitcoin motorcycle, Polygon, Shiba Inu, all that. Okay, so amazing. But what? Guess what? No degree. From no institution. No way to recognize her skills except to see those products. Started to create in 2016 and got a patent. I did patent first instead of marketing first, kind of the opposite of what most NFT crypto projects do. Because I knew it was going to be up against a huge fight with universities and a traditional economy, because I know how universities work. I've built 3. But what we can do with NFTs is something even more significant than putting our certificates on the chain. We can use semi-fungible tokens, which is what I've done, and we can actually load those certificates with cryptocurrency, digital assets, and digitized assets. All right, I've been talking about this a long time, where the certificates actually fund the education. With cryptocurrency, adding crypto to the game, we can actually do micro payments, micro scholarships, micro transfer. That means any certificate, achievement, merit, qualification, bonus, award, identity can be non-transferable badges of honor with transferable digital assets inside. So all of the informal education, whether it's your babysitter, whether it's your kid, you can always give them some kind of award or recognition of achievement. Whether it's some person with Down syndrome who created an amazing NFT global project, you can actually recognize and support that person through this platform I've developed. And micro-credentials as NFTs change the game. I knew this for a long time. These words are really small. They weren't big on the slide. I don't know what happened. Is this happening to anybody else? It looks big at the beginning, but then in the end, it's a little bit smaller than you'd hope for. Anyway, so all these things that we talk about, permissionless, verified ownership, incentivized, monetized, with privacy, transparency, transferability, and immutability are something that we never had in digital certificates. But let me tell you something, the regular world, micro-credentials, digital badges, they doubled every year, and over the pandemic, they doubled even more. Last year, there was 80 million digital badges. Not a single one recognized as an NFT by an institution. We need to change the game right now. This is my doctorate. I've got a floppy hat. Anybody from England will know that only people with PhDs can wear a floppy hat. Nobody else, not even the prince or the queen, can wear a floppy hat. She gets a crown though. But basically, we can put your entirety of your qualification inside a digital badge. We don't even have to have that information on chain. What's important is a transaction. Okay, now I put my PhD into a digital badge. And not only that, I put all my dissertation work in a digital badge. I put all my scores in a digital badge. I put some of my feedback in a digital badge. I can contain all of that data. I put multimedia. I put my publications. Now that is something that you can click on and say, yeah, this person really did a doctorate. Yeah, this person really did a doctorate. This person really has over 1,000 downloads of his dissertation. Yeah, and I can prove that, and I don't need to go to an institution to do that. And the other thing is, by the way, you might not know this. I'm going to finish up here real quick. It says right here, you guys got my degrees, and I'm going to ask for those back. Can somebody volunteer? Can you volunteer and help me and collect all of my degrees and certificates? I appreciate that. I appreciate that. It says right here on the transcript, and this is going to say this in every institution, every entity that gives degrees and certificates is going to say, hold on a second. Degrees and other higher education qualifications are legally owned by the awarding institution, not by the state or by the student. You ever read the fine print? You don't own your degrees. You don't own your certificates. You don't. So what are we going to do about that? Well, I say that you can also burn down student debt when we add. Where'd the thing go? I said, okay, I got 1 minute. It's just 1 minute. So what I said, can I have those? All right.
I'm gonna play you off stage.
All right.
I'm gonna do the Oscars music.
All right. So what I'm going to do is say we should burn down student debt. We should burn down the existing education qualification system because it doesn't function anymore. And last and least, we got to start by our own action. So you guys saw all my degrees. First thing we need to do is fractionalize. Can I go to the last? It's under degrees on that one. I'm really thanks you guys. Trust me, this is the moment you've been waiting for.
I'm gonna have to pull you off stage.
Okay, come pull me off stage, but before you do that, I'm gonna fractionalize my own doctorate degree right on stage, right now. I'm fractionalizing this. Step after we fractionalize is what we gotta do, right? We gotta burn it down.
Listen. Against code.
There's no way that we can get that back. No self-safety issues. Thank you very much, everybody.
Round 4. Now I know. Do you want your degrees back? The other ones? Oh, yeah, please.
Yeah.
We look the best. All right, guys, we have an amazing panel coming up. Promotion of NFT drop, what do you need to know? And funnily enough, Maria right here was leading my panel in Miami a week ago. So she's everywhere in the world. So I'm sure this is going to be amazing. Give it up for Maria Lobanova. Shen Kumar, I guess is not here. Is Shen here? No? Okay. Susie Brolin, Sarah BBB, and Annie Can. What up, guys?
Hi, everyone. Thank you for coming to our panel. I know we probably